Welcome to Play It by Tier, a series created by the Switch Clicks. In this series, we review a variety of games, movies, and other media. At the end of each episode, they will be ranked and placed onto a tier list, based on a certain category. In this episode, we will be reviewing Bowser's Fury, the expansion to the Nintendo Switch version of Super Mario 3D World. This review will contain minor spoilers. Bowser's Fury is basically a combination of Super Mario 3D World and Super Mario Odyssey, with its own unique feature where every few minutes, the entire map transforms into a chaotic and dangerous landscape. Fire and obstacles come flying at you. The gargantuan antagonist, Fury Bowser, breathes out large beams of fire that are often unavoidable. Instead of collecting stars or moons, you collect cat shines to progress through the game. The game's companion character is none other than Bowser Jr., who helps you find items or collect coins, can sometimes be controlled by the second player. Aside from a few references to Sunshine, there's not much to say from this game's story. As a matter of fact, the characters at the end pretended that the events of this story didn't happen. They never explained how Bowser got corrupted by the black goo. Music-wise, I'm quite surprised. The music in this game was composed by a different group of musicians, different from the people who did 3D World, yet the music still holds that upbeat, modern Mario style. Simple, repetitive, memorable, and fun. It doesn't have the adventurous vibes that Odyssey gives out, but it also doesn't have quite the same feel as 3D World in terms of style. While sounding somewhat generic, Bowser's Fury has a soundtrack that takes a bit of everything, with the focus of at least feeling like a Mario game. For a Mario game, this game ran quite strangely from the rest. Of course, much like Age of Calamity, there were definitely some development restraints because of COVID. Unlike most modern Mario games, which ran at 60 frames per second, the strange thing about Bowser's Fury is that it runs at 30 frames per second, but this is exclusive to Bowser's Fury. 3D World runs at 60, but what's even more strange about Bowser's Fury is that the intro and outro cutscenes also ran at 60, in the style of a 3D World cutscene. Just imagine switching from a smooth, high-quality cutscene straight to a subpar, average-looking cutscene, with a noticeable difference in how smooth the animations are. The enemies, controls, the special moves, and the power-ups are all taken from 3D World. The only difference is that you have full camera control, and you have full 360 movement. You can't backflip, you can't roll, and of course, there's no movement system equivalent to Cappy. There isn't much freedom of movement here, and it is also slow because you don't have that rolling mechanic. Riding across the water is not as exciting as it seems. Most of the good stuff is reserved for the last parts of the game, where parkour and speed is actually factored in. Everywhere else seems quite empty, and there's often little obstacles to reach a far-out destination. It's a fun and fast ride, but it can grow on you pretty quickly. One of the key highlights of Bowser's Fury is that the entire game is played in an open world, which was something done at a smaller but more quantitative scale in Odyssey. There are multiple major areas in the world map, and within each of these areas, you have Bowser's Fury's version of levels, the only difference being you don't have to enter through a loading screen. Each of these levels have their own lighthouse, very similar to the Sheikah Towers from Breath of the Wild, providing a lookout position from a high elevation. The rest of the map is covered in water, much like playing The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, and you can also ride a dinosaur as transportation across this vast lake. This all sounds perfect in theory, but the execution just wasn't right. Even with this big open world, one of the biggest issues I've had with this game is that it doesn't promote exploration. It's not like Breath of the Wild, where you journey into an unknown region and expand your map through towers. It's not like Odyssey, where you go on a scavenger hunt for most of the power moves. Bowser's Fury feels awfully linear for an open world game, some of it being blamed on the boss battles being mandatory to open more portions of the map. The levels themselves don't feel like they have much variety either. Most of them feel like they have the bare minimum to qualify for a Mario level, but they don't really seem to have a whole lot of platforming and enemies compared to 3D World. Not to mention most of the areas feel quite small. Combine that with the cat power-up and the propeller block, and I think navigating the levels and even the entire map itself becomes ridiculously fast and easy. Another thing about these levels is that the objectives played within them can get very repetitive. In every level, you have to wait for Fury Bowser to destroy the designated blocks with the Bowser marking. In every level, you have to collect 5 tokens to get a cat shine. In most levels, you have to collect all the blue coins in a sequence. In most levels, you simply just have to platform when you make it to the end of the level. It can get quite repetitive, and that's the reason why it makes the game feel so small. My ranking for Bowser's Fury is a B. The game is fun and it'll hold you over for a while, whether it's before or after you've beaten 3D World. The game is easy to learn and has a simple map layout for you to navigate. However, it feels very experimental as the formula is fairly new. I see this game as a fake open world game. With its seamless map design meant to trick us into thinking, this game gives us more freedom than it actually does. The less movement mechanics took a bit away from the game. The overall performance is average, the difficulty is a little too easy, and I would only recommend it if you wanted another way to learn how to play 3D World.